Greetings there, fellow makers. Welcome to Ted's Shop. I'm Bill. That's Ted.
I'm Evil Ted.
And welcome to another Prop Live Q&A, your weekly prop and costume making question and answer session. I'm in LA for some reason.
You are. I think, Bill, you came out here for VidCon.
I'm here for VidCon, but while I'm here, of course I have to come by Ted's Shop.
Definitely.
This time I'm sleeping at in the floor over there.
Yeah. As long as he doesn't make too much noise, it's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. And I fix things too.
He did.
We're here hanging out. We've been collecting questions from the chat. I was just on Ted's stream, twitch.tv/EvilTedSmith. And then he painted this. Woo. And that will end up as a video on your YouTube channel.
Yes, as a matter of fact, I'm going to make this video. I'm going to do aging. This, guys, is a prop from my buddy Xander.
Mm-hmm. Over at Z Props.
Z Props.
And you guys know I've painted some of Xander stuff on the stream before. So that'll be a cool one. That'll be up on the YouTube channel there. Mm-hmm. We also have Ted's website. If you guys haven't had a chance to go check out EvilTedsmith.com, head on over there. Yes, Ted, what sort of good stuff is on your website?
Oh my God, super cool. I actually just did recently a video on how to make shoe covers for your cosplays. And the way of doing it without damaging your shoes is actually having slip covers. You guys want patterns, and I have shopping this as well too. My patterns, I try to keep them really simple and basic and make them fun. So I have helmets and costumes, and I have some free helmets. You guys can get a Peloton helmet from Voltron.
Oh my goodness!
I love that show, guys. Defenders of the Universe.
There you go.
Yeah, if you're gonna be there, guys, definitely go and get those Peloton helmet. Oh, the Inquisitor helmet again, Dragon Age, super cool. It's free.
Free template for you there.
And I got a 3-part video. If you guys are out there and you resin crazy people like to work with Bondo resin, I got my buddy Steven's got a Solo Robondo book. Actually, I'll be honest with you, I went through it. It's really good.
Yeah. Solo Robondo.
Solo Robondo.
I call it.
Solo Robondo.
So. Cool. So head on over to EvilTedSmith.com. Jump on his mailing list too. Ted's really good about getting weekly updates out.
What's going on with what I have in my store.
Yeah. And look forward to more patterns too.
Matter of fact, Bill's absolutely right. There's some patterns coming.
Oh, can we get Ted closer to the mic? That's right. We didn't plug in the other microphone. That's okay. I will move this so that we're a little bit more centrally located.
Let me come closer to you too.
Ta-da! You also need to project more. I project.
Bill does. He does. He projects. And you're right. I do when I'm streaming. At least I try to. So.
All right. I don't see why we should waste any time.
Nope.
We should just jump right into your questions. If you guys are watching this later, not live, first you should. It's a good time. But if you aren't, you can submit your questions at punishprops.com/live anytime. That all gets emailed to us. Brittany will go and put it in our doc, and then we will answer them on the very next episode. So that's what we have. A bunch of you guys have thrown questions at us about the project you're working on, and we are going to answer them. Are you ready, Ted?
Yeah, I am. Let's do it.
Great. Lewis wants to know, if you're just getting into EVA Foam prop and armor making, and you could only afford one first, what would you get? An airbrush or a critter gun? He already has a decent-sized shop compressor, but he just wants to know if he should get an airbrush or a critter gun. What's your opinion, Ted?
My opinion on that, guys, is get a critter gun, because about sealing your foam with paint, you can do a lot with a brush. You can do stuff with fine brushing. Airbrush is for the real more finite stuff. But for coating, sealing, making your costume more durable, you want to spray rubber on it. Get a compressor. He said he has a compressor, correct?
He has a compressor.
Critter gun.
Very good.
Get a critter. Yes, bypass the airbrush. Airbrush is secondary. Getting your armor coated smooth, and you go back and you can do everything else with a brush. Nice acrylic paints are good. And you go to an art store and get some nice fine soft bristle brushes, and you can just put on thin coats. If you get really good at painting, it'll go on evenly and smoothly without brush strokes.
There you go. Critter gun, and then eventually get both.
Yeah, eventually. That's just you want the number order. Critter gun first, airbrush second.
I like it. Thank you, Lewis. Very good question. Let's go with Matthew. He wants to know, how big of a space do I need to start prop crafting?
Yeah, got a kitchen table?
Yeah. Small table.
Small table.
The only real concern with having a really small space is if anything you're working on is toxic or in any way, you have to do it outside, right? Yes. But that doesn't mean you can't work on a model or a small prop in the corner of your dorm room, and then take it outside to spray paint it. You could totally do that. But I've seen some pretty astonishing costumes and props made in staggeringly small spaces.
Kiana goes based in England. She has a small one-room apartment, and she built this crazy warrior character from what game it was. Oh god, giant horns and wings.
Mhm.
And if you guys seen this costume with the giant ring, it's beautiful and epic. If you only found out where she built it from, you would lose your mind. It's impossible. It's this little small one-room apartment. But
Yeah.
she would think she would do all her work if you didn't paint outside.
Yep. So if you spray paint, if you're going to use any toxic glues or anything, use
Outside.
it outside. Yeah. So space should not be a limit unless you're trying to build like a Hulkbuster costume that literally won't fit in the room.
Right, exactly.
Even still, you could work on a leg and then move it elsewhere. All right. Thanks, Matthew. Another great question. Christy from K-Pod Cosplay says, in your opinion, what is the best primer to use for an insulation foam prop? I'm working on Heimdall's daggers from Thor: The Dark World. They are sculpted from XPS foam, but still need sealing, sanding, and priming.
That is a question Bill's going to answer.
I'm going to answer that. So the main thing is, if any spray paint that you put on XPS foam has any sort of solvent in it, it will melt it. So if you just brush on acrylic paint, that'll be enough of a barrier that you can then spray any other paint on top of it. But you can also seal it with something like Mod Podge, and you could mix acrylic paints into the Mod Podge. You want to get a good coat of stuff on there, so you could color it that way. But really, just seal it with something like acrylic paint, and then spray paint to your heart's content. And the acrylic paint should bond to it just fine. If you want to go crazy, you could mix up some epoxy,
That's right.
like Epsilon from
Yep.
Smooth On.
Yeah, corgi.
Yeah, and brush that on, and that'll make a nice hard shell that you can then paint in any way you want.
And I'm a big supporter of that because I'm not putting epoxy on foam, but you have something like insulation foam, epoxy on that is super great because it prevents it from being dented easily.
Yep.
Because the foam just gets dented.
So that's the next level if you want to go there. But the primary concern is whether or not any solvents go on that foam because it'll melt it. Good question. Thank you, Christy. We're just cruising through these ones. Cody has a question. What spray can clear coats, other than 2K urethane, provide a very durable and glossy finish? This is for use over Wicked Colors and Tamiya airbrush paints. So the 2K urethane stuff, if you guys don't know, that stuff is a catalyzed like finishing stuff
That
like for
stuff's
cars.
I've seen it in action. I've not used it yet. I'm trying to make a project that can actually use it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's super cool.
Ted, you have to project more.
Project more.
I'll put the computer closer to you. That stuff though, I mean, it's more expensive. You have to get all the equipment for it. You can get stuff like that in a rattle can, though. That's the stuff Frank turned me on to. I'll find a link for it. So just because you may not have the equipment to do that sort of stuff,
right.
If you want a finish that's actually durable, that is your option.
Yeah, it's super cool. It's super bulletproof.
And I'm stalling because I need to log into Amazon and find out the name of it. I probably have it actually on.
So while Bill's doing that, guys, I'll stand here and project to answer the last question about the insulation foam. I think it's super cool. People doing stuff with insulation foam. Most things I've seen people do with insulation foam, I still thought to myself, you can still do that with foam. I think people like it because it sands easier and cuts easier, and that foam's a little bit more of a chore to work with. EVA foam, that is. But when you make a giant sword, and I know it's easier, but eventually think about longevity of your costume. If you're building something big and you want it to last longer, make it out of EVA foam or floor mat foam because it's just going to be a little more durable. The insulation foam is super cool if you're making a wall piece or a mount or decorative piece. If you're going to go to a con with it or put it in a car, it's going to get damaged and dented. You're going to put all this work into sculpting, carving something out of this insulation foam. Then when it's done, all it takes is your buddy to close a door on it. And you're like, and it's ruined or dented. So if you're going to do the Epsilon epoxy, then all for it. But
yeah, that definitely makes it.
that makes a world of difference and
Yeah.
make it tougher. But if you're not going to do that,
Okay. I finally found it, everybody.
okay, there's
USC Spray Max 2K High Gloss Clear Coat Aerosol. It's a spray paint can. I'll put a link in the chat. This is an Amazon affiliate link. If you guys want to go buy that, that'd be awesome. This stuff is, there it is. So it's a super crazy durable. Brittany used this on the Commander Holly helmet.
Yes.
Yep. And you just have to pop a button on the bottom and mix it up and spray it on just like spray paint. And you have a couple days to use the whole can before it completely cures. So there you go. That if you want a crazy durable finish, because every other clear coat, it protects it, but if you're gonna abuse it at all, it'll chew right through there.
Right, exactly.
This stuff will handle dropping it, scuffing it.
It's basically automotive finish.
Yeah.
It's like automotive car color without you doing the chemical mixing.
Yep. Okay. Good. So that game goes from Cody. Good luck with that, Cody. Have fun. Il Peccato says, what tool or technique do you use to carve into foam, like indents and other details into armor? I'm going to throw that to Ted.
There's two techniques I can do. Is just a good sharp X-Acto blade and a ruler, but you can't beat a wood burner.
Mm-hmm.
You guys can see it.
I have a soldering iron right here.
Soldering iron right there too. You can do a soldering iron, a wood burner. The cool thing with a wood burner kit is that there are adjustable bits and tips you can put on there. But Bill and I both have extensive videos about how to detail your foam. We go into that with the wood burner. The thing with the wood burner is you got to be in a well-ventilated area.
Wear a respirator
because of toxic fumes. And when you're working with it, you're doing straight lines, use a metal ruler as a guide.
Yeah.
And practice before you do it in your costume pieces. Because even went, oh yeah, I'm going to do it, and burn a burn hole, and then I had to patch it and start over again.
Yeah. There you go. Wood burner. Very good. Thank you, Il Peccato. Next one is from Zombie Minion. And Zombie Minion wants to know, I'm going to make a sword for Mickey Mouse, for a Mickey Mouse set of armor, for my son for Halloween. That sounds awesome. I want to make a Pluto head for the hilt of the sword. Would the pink insulation foam be strong enough if I sculpted it and sealed it, or do I try and make it out of EVA foam? Or do I try to sculpt and cast it? I would, if the Pluto head, if you're going to make more than one of them, I would sculpt and cast it. That's what I would do. But I bet Ted could make a pretty good-looking one out of EVA foam.
What I would do, though, I would do the same technique you would do. I would take your Pluto head and carve it out of foam, but just do half of it. Like Bill did, he did for your Mechanist.
Mm-hmm.
I did it for my Charlie the Robot. You take insulation.
Oh, the whole. So this is just the hilt of a sword, though.
Oh,
it's not a helmet.
Oh, I'm talking about Pluto's head.
Yeah, it's Pluto's head as the hilt.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I was thinking giant Pluto helmet. No, for the head, I'm with Bill. You carve that out of EVA foam.
Mm-hmm. You could totally do
that. Because you just get it, stack it, and just carve into it and sand it and drill it, and you'll be fine.
But if you need like a head on either side of the hilt, I would sculpt one out of clay, make a mold of it, and cast it. Yeah. That's what I would do. And then you could make dozens of them and sell them, and then have Disney send you a cease and desist.
And they'll do it quickly.
They're very fast, yes.
They're good. They have people, that's their job.
Thank you, Zombie Minion. Pressing forward, Emerald Cosplay has a question. If you had to pick a favorite prop out of all the ones you built, which one would you choose from? Wow, that is... Ted's got quite a history. I don't know if you guys know how many things Ted's made.
You know, I always tell people it's always the last thing I do.
That's usually my go-to.
It's mine too, because it's because I'm so excited. I just did Madame Hydra, and we had a blast making her. It was Cecily's idea. My assistant Brett. She was her idea. She was, I want to be Madame Hydra for HydraCon, and we made it. And it was kind of a challenge. I'd never done it before. And she basically ended up being like a female Iron Man. She's just armored from head to toe. And by the time it was all said and done, I was like, when I put her in the costume and she wore it for the first time and we got the bodysuit with all the graphics on it, I was like, that's a pretty darn cool costume. And I was very proud of it. So I was quite happy. When we got back, we posted photos. So for me, that's right now, it's my favorite one.
Very good. I'm just going to pick one that I'm proud of, and I'm going to go with the District 9 rifle.
Yes.
Yeah. It's definitely the biggest one I've made.
That I'm excited about Vampire D, but nobody's seen him yet. So.
Okay. I saw the sword in my bedroom. That's right. Ted actually let me sleep in a bed, not on the floor. Thank you, Emerald Cosplay. Next one comes to us from Anthony. What would be your #1 piece of advice for a beginner prop maker who wants to someday make it into a career?
I'm ready for this one.
Lay it on us, Ted.
Okay. My number one advice for a first-time filmmaker, or sorry, prop maker, customer. Anyway, you have to build it. You have to build it. Start building, and don't think, oh my God, when I'm going to start, I'm going to start. Start building, and as you build, take pictures, photograph everything you're doing, document as you're building it, down with the raw foam to the finished product. Therefore, when people see it, they can say, oh, that's a cast piece. You're like, no, I made that. Show them proof that you made this, and keep track of how long it takes you to make these things.
Yeah.
Take up time, and you build a and that day's gonna come when somebody goes, you're gonna go knock on somebody's door. Hey, I can build stuff. They'll say, really? Let me see. So you'll have a portfolio. Have a portfolio of work.
And then they'll want to know, how long did that take you? Because if you make the most amazing prop handgun, and they're like, that's incredible, you can do great work, how long did it take you? And you tell them, it took me 6 months. They'll say,
6 months.
We need a quicker turnaround time normally, yeah.
Guys, and you got to keep track of it. The thing is, as you build, get faster at it, get good, then get fast. And that day, when that day comes, when you're ready to start doing it for a job or take clients, have something to show.
Yep. Keep track of all your work. But the best thing, if you're just getting started, the best thing you can do is get a lot of projects under your belt. Finish them. Start to finish. No one is interested in seeing half-finished projects. So make maybe a handful of really small projects, but take them all the way from start to finish. Very good. And good luck with that, Anthony. Hopefully someday you will be
a prop maker.
Prop maker, making his living, building stuff. Let's go with Nerdy Views.
Hey, Nerdy Views.
He says, Bill, I recently rewatched your Risty Mace and Shield build. That's going way back. He said he was astonished at how little foam I used. That's right. I didn't use a lot of foam back then. He was wondering, now that I have 4 more years of experience, is there anything you would have done differently? The Mace I probably would do pretty similar. I got a dome, like an acrylic dome, and I fiberglassed it so it'd be nice and strong. And then the spikes for it, I turned on the lathe, and then I molded and cast a bunch of them. The handle would have been a lot easier with a bandsaw, so I'd do that on the bandsaw. The shield I'd probably end up making out of foam. I vacuum formed it, and it turned out okay. I wouldn't put plastic in the oven that I eat out of. That's a decision I would make differently now, because I put the fat and plastic in my oven and then I vacuum formed it. I can't recommend that. I realized I did that in that video. Not a good idea. So a couple things. But the shield now, if I was making that shield again, I'd make it out of EVA foam, and it would be done so much faster. But the Mace, I'm still very proud of how that Mace turned out. Thank you, Elton, over at Nerdy Views. Next one here is Artcore Cosplay. Do you have a dream project that you would really like to make someday, if you had the time and the resources? I have one. I bring this up a lot. People have heard this a lot, but I want to make Corbin Dallas's apartment. That's my dream project.
Which is super cool, and I'd love to be a part of that. Mine is I want to do a still suit.
Yes, that's right.
And it's the reason I'm like, it's not that I can't. I can do it. I got the ability to do it. It's just, it's time. I really got to do my research. I've got an action figure that I bought when I was a kid, years when the movie came out in the 80s, and I'm looking at it going, this is really accurate, this toy. So I got pictures. Bill Bryant, who actually made the costumes for the movie, I know him personally.
Yeah.
And he has tons of pictures. I'm like, oh. So I'm getting pictures from him. I got an action figure. And so eventually that is my dream costume.
Awesome.
Vampire Hunter D was the first one. Check. Done. Moving on to the next one is Still Suit from Doom.
Excellent. Very, very cool. I need to move out of my basement before I can start in Corbin Dallas's apartment. So.
Yes, you do. And also, I hope you get some images.
Excellent. And we actually went and saw Fifth Element in theaters a couple weeks ago for the 20-year, by the way, 20-year release.
Yeah, don't you tell me I worked on it. It makes me feel really old.
In the chat there, Yaki Yam is pointing out that going back and rebuilding an old prop like that Risty shield would make a great video. The problem is I have no desire to rebuild a prop I've already made.
Yeah.
So I probably won't do that. You're right, though. That would be a pretty good idea. Let's see. Thank you, Artcore Cosplay, for the question.
That was a great question. It was. I like that.
Gary Osaurus wants to know, for someone who's a total beginner, where would you recommend someone start? Are there resources online? Why, there is.
There is.
And I'll show you. If I go to finishedprops.com, and it takes forever to load because I need to fix my website. You go to PodgeProps.com. There is a button that says New to Prop and Costume Making. Start here. And if you click on that, that will bring you to a bunch of our resources that will help you get started, including a free ebook that's now linked through Amazon, so it doesn't destroy my website when 15,000 people try to download it at the same time.
I was like, holy people. I was going to tell you what a good idea when your site was down.
Yep. We have some of our books that you could buy, including ours, Harrison's, Camui's, and Will's. We have a really good video that'll get you started, and then a ton of excellent free resources, as well as free blueprint files up at the top of the website here.
The cool thing with Bill's weapons book is that when you get it,
you get blueprints with that too.
You get blueprints with that.
So here's some free blueprints, including Skyrim helmet and Skyrim armor. We have Malcolm Reynolds' gun. We have the hand cannon from Destiny. So if you're looking for some resources to get you started, that's exactly what we designed that for. We designed it for you, Garyosaurus. Next one is from Mark. And Mark wants to know, what's the best airbrush PSI to use when painting a prop? And what is the best application painting method? The painting method is going to depend on what you're making. He says, example, a Daft Punk helmet. Daft Punk helmet, you're going to go with like chrome paint, like all clad.
All clad.
Do you have a PSI you aim for with the?
I do 25 PSI.
Yeah.
Brush. I don't go, I don't try to go any higher than that.
Yep. The only time you would change the PSI is if you're trying to do some sort of special effect.
Right.
So if you drop the PSI and open up the, like really, it'll sputter.
Yeah, if I do a sputter technique, like with my old airbrush, I'd turn the pressure down, I'd open it up, and get back, and go, and just
it like speckles. It's really cool.
And it spatters and it gives a texture. Something about breaking the surface, just have something to break the texture, not make it so smooth.
Yeah.
Helps a lot.
So there are some special things you can do, but generally 25 PSI is a pretty good question.
No, it's a good
pressure.
It's a good question. Good question too. Great question.
Thank you, Mark. Zebra and Donkey is curious. Ted, will you only be in Stuttgart for Comic-Con, or are you headed anywhere else?
Yes, I am going. I'm going. Which is awesome. I'm really happy. Then I'll be going to Dragon Con.
But you're not going anywhere else in Germany.
No. Oh, in Germany, no.
Yeah.
I'm actually just in Germany. I'm just hanging out. Here, I'll let you guys know. I'll be the first time to tell people, anybody here.
Oh my goodness.
First time doing it live on Bill's show. Is that I'm staying a little bit.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to do the con and then stay I'm going to stay about 3 or 4 days afterwards.
Those will be days in Stuttgart.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll be in Stuttgart hanging out. So I'll be on social media while I'm there, letting people know where they can find me if they want to hang out and we can catch up. But I'm not going to any more conventions.
Okay. There you go. He was curious if you would go to Berlin.
It's the people I'm staying with if they're up for it.
Zebra and Donkey, thank you for the question. Next one is Corn Cake. Is there a way to selectively cold cast on a sword mold? I'm making Crom's Falchion from Fire Emblem, and it has a regular metallic silver blade with gold down the middle. So do I have to cold cast the silver and paint the gold, or vice versa? That would be the easiest way to do it. Whatever the bulk of the color is, like silver, go with that first, and then just paint the gold part. You can technically carefully put gold powder in the mold on those raised pieces.
Yeah, that's tricky.
And then you have to dump the extra out without getting it on anything else. And then you can go over the rest of it with your silver. Really brush it in and then dump the extra out. If you don't dump out the extra powder, you'll get a clump of it in the casting. It's challenging, but not impossible. I've never done that specific thing before, but I've seen it done.
I've seen it done too.
Yeah,
never done.
Getting the gold or the brass powder into that one part of the mold without getting it on everything else is going to be tricky. So, good luck. Practice on a small mold.
Practice.
Yeah.
Practice.
Yeah, then you won't waste a ton of resin. All right, Corn Cake, bringing the cold casting question. I am Pendragon says, Bill, will you bring Ted onto TMS with you one day? TMS is the morning stream. It's a podcast I do with some friends of mine over at the Frog Pants Network, Scott Johnson and Brian Ibbett, two of my favorite people. And if Ted is ever at my house when I'm doing TMS on Tuesday mornings, 10 a.m. Pacific, then sure. But
Totally.
odds are of that actually happening, who knows? I don't know. But that would be fun.
Well, thank you, guys. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Then question 2 is a thickening agent necessary if you're doing a brush-on mold? So what Pendragon here is referencing, if you're doing a brush-on mold, you take silicone, you brush it on a model in several layers to make a skin with silicone around it. And that's your silicone mold. In fact, we have a brush-on mold video on our YouTube channel.
In the movie, we did the same thing. We would do brush-on molds. We would do the thin batch first, which is sprayed silicone. And then we have this stuff called Cabicil, which is micro glass balloons. It's super deadly and dangerous. And we'd wear
silica, yeah. It's shards of glass.
It's little shards of glass. We'd wear masks and gloves. We'd scoop it, mix it. It would make the silicone viscous and thicker without breaking the integrity of the chemical mix. Yep. So we actually make the silicone thicker, and we'd be able to spatula it on. And we would do. And the reason we do it is just for sheer speed.
Yeah.
To make it faster.
You can also use now something called 5X, which is a liquid. And while I wouldn't drink it, I don't think it's deadly. So, for example, what we used was Rebound 25. Right. Brush on a thin layer to get all the detail, and then brush on progressively thickened layers to get the bulk that you need. Right. And you could technically keep brushing on thin layers. It would just take a long time. Technically.
You do that and then put a jacket or something on it.
Then you would put a jacket on it. So, yeah, you don't necessarily need a thickening agent, but I'm telling you right now, you're going to want to have a little bit of it.
It gives your mold more integrity, and you're able to reproduce the thing you're molding, because if it gets too wobbly and soft, you're going to lose its shape. Right.
So spring for the 5X, and you'll be happier for it. Thank you. I am Pendragon, and thank you for listening to the morning stream. Cody has a question. What grit of sandpaper should I go with when I'm beveling the edges on my foam armor? Ted, don't you have a video?
I do.
Cleaning up the edges of foam?
I do. Matter of fact, and what was the exact one?
What grit of sandpaper?
Oh my God! Well, I actually have 3 grits.
And you also have a whole box of sanding sticks right there.
Sanding sticks, and I got a box, and I go through them. And also, the thing that Bill turned me on to is these cool little sanding blocks that are foam, like old foam. What do you get these at?
The hardware store.
Hardware stores. They're foam blocks, and you sand. But my trick is always try to cut your blade, get your angles. But if you sand them, you just make sanding sticks. And what these are just paint sticks.
Just from the hardware store for free.
For free, you get paint sticks.
Yep.
And what I do is a paint stirring sticks, and I just spray 77 adhesive on the wood sticks and the sandpaper. Lay them down, press them, cut them, sanding sticks.
And because you're not gumming them up, these probably last forever.
Yeah, this is the same 80 grit I've had for years. Yeah. It's just, you're taking foam, and I've got an 80 grit, and I've got a 120, and I've got a 320. And you just basically, here's the thing with guys with foam, you can sand it. Start with a heavy grit, work your way down. And if you actually you can actually get crazy enough and wet sand your foam with like a 100 grit. 400 grit.
Yeah. So the answer is several grits in order of 80 to up to as high as 400.
Yep. You can sand.
Yes. And any respectable prop making shop will end up having a whole bunch of different grits of sandpaper. I believe I have 60 to 2,000.
Yeah, and trust me, you should be like Bill, not like me. I don't have nearly enough sandpaper.
And just keep it on hand at all times. Yes. You never know when you'll need it. His second question is, I'm making a Mr. Freeze cosplay, and I need to mount the armor on a jumpsuit. I'm currently using snaps and Velcro. Is there any other way you prefer to attach armor to a jumpsuit? I generally go with snaps and Velcro as well.
I do too, and I always try to incorporate all the straps hanging off the armor itself. People are really crazy about sewing Velcro onto your actual suit itself. But my thing, if you have a chest piece or armor piece, run straps off of that. If you make a torso piece, then put a strap that for your shoulders, and for your forearm pieces, like maybe a little, like I'd have a tab hanging off the bicep. So I always try to have everything hanging off the armor to make it easier, opposed to sticking so much stuff on the fabric. But I'm with fabric, Velcro, and snaps. Can't beat it.
Yep, hard to beat. I especially like snaps.
Snaps are
one of the great things too about snaps is Two things. One, if you have like an elbow piece, put 2 snaps on it. Otherwise, it'll spin. And also, if someone bumps you and your armor pops off, it's not going to rip the cloth. It's not going to tear at the foam. It'll pop off. You can pick it up, snap it back on. Yeah.
I like snap, and I got turned on. I like the big ones too. Get the big ones.
Really big.
And, and boy, when you put it on, you can feel it confident. Like
it's in good there. Positive lock. Thank you, Cody. Next question here comes from Deanna. If I ordered a light rope, we have a link here. Let's take a look at this. So this is the light rope in question. Mm-hmm. It's PVC rope, so it's a PVC rubber tube with LEDs in it, and that looks really cool. Okay, so that's the article we're referencing here. If I order this light rope, is there a way I could make the light reflect within the string itself to attempt to create the effect of the string being filled with light? I'm trying to recreate the lasso of truth from the recent Wonder Woman release. So this is tough because clearly in the movie that was all done in CG. Yeah, totally. Like they had a rope and they just added a Photoshop glow filter. It's probably more sophisticated than that.
But they did a good job.
Yeah. I don't know how I would pull that off with LEDs. The problem is you get hot spots wherever there's an LED.
Yeah, Bill and I learned really quickly, if you want to diffuse something, you got to put distance from it.
Yeah.
So unless your rope is like 3 inches thick, it's not a diffusion. And my biggest concern is how would you power your rope light with you?
Right. So Brittany and I actually talked about this a lot. She was trying to figure out a good way to do this. I can't remember. Britt would actually be more more ready to answer this one. But let's say she keeps the lasso on her hip, right? So part of it's wound up on her hip, and then the rope that's around someone is out there. So you could keep the battery on your hip, right? You could figure out a way. You would have to obscure it in some way, but you could power it like that. Right. What Brittany was looking up was fiber optics, and there are.
And you scratch the surface of the fiber optic.
Yes. So the way the fiber optics work is you have a light source. So the light does not travel the whole. The light source does not travel the whole length of it. The light source would be like at your hip where the battery is, and then fiber optic cables can run the length of it. Now usually it's just the very tip point of it, but you're right. If the entire length of that, and I believe they make them. They pre-made that way, so the entire length of the fiber optic cable will glow. You could run those through a pipe or a tube, like a rubber tube, like that PVC tube, and then the whole thing would glow.
And the cool thing with that is that, with fiber optics, we did a show, and there's a thing we learned we could sand the fiber optics, and the light would catch on the edge, so the whole thing would glow.
And then the glowiness of your thing just depends on how bright of a light you shine. You could just put a flashlight.
And the cool thing is, your power source doesn't have to be that strong. All it needs is about one LED all light the entire screen.
So just like here's some examples.
Here's the thing, guys. I'm getting educated every time I do something because there's so much stuff, and I'm so out of the loop on some technology that when people say something, I'm like, oh, that exists? It's amazing.
Now people will also state maybe you should do EL wire. A couple things about EL wire.
It's fragile.
The most important thing for me is that it's not bright. It does not put out a ton of light.
No, it does not.
So your lasso of truth will only look good and glowy if you're in a darker environment.
Or at a rave.
Yeah, which is fine. Like maybe you want to be rave Wonder Woman. But also, like Ted said, the connections are so tiny, they're very apt to break, and then the light stops working. So they're fragile, and if you're going to be swinging that thing around at all, it's very likely that it will break.
So the fiber optic, everything I've done with EL, I have to be super careful. It breaks.
There's a link that Avatar Props just sent, so I want to go check that. And there it is. It's Hendo, some sort of rope light thing. I'm not quite sure. I just brought it up there.
That looks enhanced.
Like it was maybe done digitally. I don't know. That looks pretty good. Let's see.
But she's just in a brightly lit area.
I wonder. She doesn't say anything about how it was done.
Yeah, guys.
But that looks really cool.
It's super. It's a cool. I've seen this clip, and I just thought it was done digitally because what you can do on a laptop is amazing now. So
anyway, yeah, people are out there doing it. Go see a Pendo.
I'll tell you what, guys. Go ask her.
Yeah, go ask her.
She streams, so if
yeah,
she's streaming,
cool.
Definitely chat with her. She would love to.
Why is this all in Spanish?
Because she speaks Spanish.
Oh, HL equals ES probably means language equals Spanish. This 3 years of high school Spanish just rushing back.
Out.
Excellent. Okay, Brittany just linked to it in the chat. Fiber optics, solid core. Let's keep this crazy train rolling.
Let's keep going.
Yeah,
wow.
I bet that looks exactly like the one Hendo has.
You know something?
Look at that.
That might be it, guys.
Oh man.
You know what's so cool about that is that you notice that whatever she's lassoed, it's off camera, which is probably the power source.
Yeah. It was pointing at her.
It was pointing at her, so she probably had the loose end of it, and somebody had a power source. And they thought, hey, this make a little cool gift.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do a cool gift with
yeah.
Hendo.
And it was cool.
And it was very cool.
There you go.
She sold.
We'll put links to all this in the chat, so definitely go check that out.
I'm going to look into this.
Well, this has been the Lasso Hour with Bill and Ted. Excuse me. Thank you, Deanna. That was a great question.
That was a great question. Challenged us.
Excuse me.
What I thought was once impossible now is possible.
Let's see here. Steven says, are you planning on doing any more Overwatch builds as video tutorials? I am not. I have not played any Overwatch. Have I built any? I'm helping my buddy Joel. He 3D printed the sonic amplifier gun that Lucio uses. Okay. So I'll be helping him fill that, and he's going to sand it. But that's about it.
Yeah, for me, I'm as a possible helmet I might be doing with somebody.
Oh, yeah.
I can't say for who or for what yet.
Okay.
So. But it is Overwatch based.
Very good. But I haven't played any Overwatch, so I have plenty of other things that have currently captured my imagination.
If you guys know me, I've not played any of Overwatch at all.
But he's a pro at Destiny.
You just gotta get a drink in me.
It was more than a drink. Thank you, Steven. This one here comes from Foundry13. My friend wants to cosplay Brienne of Tarth for a convention in November, but she has never made armor for it before, and she's nervous. I would help when I'm across the country. What encouragements or advice would you suggest? I would tell her first to go buy the foam armor book that I made. It's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Or you could be the best friend ever and get it as a gift.
Oh. Or you can make sure to go to my store. I have some basic patterns.
It's turned into the plug hour with Bill and Ted. Yeah. Like we were pointing out earlier, at punishprops.com, there's a where to start button.
Yes.
That's a great place to send her to get started.
Get the ball rolling.
Right, and then have her go out and see how other people have made that costume.
And the thing too is that one thing I always tell other people is, like, if you see a costume of a cosplayer and you see, talk to them, ask them.
People are always happy.
They're really happy to help. And I said, if you're somebody that you're following on Instagram or Twitter or on Facebook or they stream, come in that chat like Hendo. Like, she's super friendly. Go in that chat, say, hey, how you doing? Tell them you're a fan, ask them questions. They'll tell you. There's no, Bill and I are trying to break this wall, this whole secret thing. Like, I think
we're achieving at that. We're trying. We're doing it.
We're achieving. We're just on mission to do it.
For example, my friend Alyssa over at Propped Up Creations did a Brienne of Tarth costume, and I'm desperately trying to find it quickly right now. And she loves to share how she does her work. Where is it? I didn't find a picture of that, but I did find this picture of me wearing her Rex head. Mass Effect.
So which character is this from Mass Effect?
Brienne of Tarth.
No.
Oh, the Mass Effect one?
Oh, no, the character. Okay. Oh.
Yeah, Brienne of Tarth is from Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay. The girl with the jacket. No.
It's just gold armor.
Oh, okay.
Have you watched Game of Thrones, Ted?
No.
Okay, so.
I know who she is now. I'm sorry, because she did.
There we go.
Find her?
Yep.
That's it.
There we go. And I do believe she made all of that out of foam. So there are people out there who have done it. You do not have to start from scratch.
No, you don't. There's so many resources, people.
Awesome. Thank you, Foundry13. Last question. One more question from Intruder Timmy. He says, I'm trying out Inkscape. Ted should learn Inkscape.
I'm wanting to, but don't inform me I should not learn something.
Yeah, I've seen your hand cannon video using Inkscape, but I just can't figure out the program. Where else can I find info on how to use Inkscape? I have a premium video over on punishedprops.com. It's $5. That's it, just $5 American dollars.
And he breaks down all the
Yeah,
details.
and you've watched it, right?
I started to.
Ted, sit down and just finish it. We're gonna watch my video over beers later, I think.
Matter of fact, I'm seriously, I'm on because I have something I want to build, and I found it, and I don't want. Old school, I would take it. This is my process, guys. I would draw it on transparency, do it on overhead projector, get the scale. After watching Bill's Inkscape, I'm like, I'm not doing that ever again. So I'm going to learn Inkscape. I just need to pencil it in my schedule.
Okay, good.
Go on, sorry.
Yeah, I designed that to be. Now, I knew it was the sort of video not a lot of people were going to want to get, so I put a lot of time into recording a very specific thing. Put it on the website for $5. Super Sammy Sam says check out lynda.com. That's another really good one for like learning technical stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna so bad.
There are resources
Get
out
Bill.
there.
What,
Yeah.
Don't. Okay, F Linda. Go to Bill. Seriously, don't waste your. Go to Bill's.
Anyway, so those are all out there for you, intruder Timmy. Thank you for the question, Timmy, and thank you everyone else for your fantastic questions.
Those are awesome. Those are great questions.
You guys are awesome. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Next week, I'll be back in my shop, I think. But thank you, Ted, for having me in your shop.
Bill, thank you for hanging out.
For letting me sleep here.
Cool. Don't forget, guys, when you go back Monday, I'll be finishing this.
Cool. On your live stream?
Yes, I will.
And what time is that?
That's 9 a.m.
9 a.m. Pacific.
Pacific Standard Time.
All right. Thank you again, everyone, for hanging out on this episode of Prop Live Q&A. You guys are great. Go out there and be awesome. Maybe I'll see some of you at VidCon. And that's all we have. We'll see you all next week.
Bye, guys.